everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a green set, which is obviously very different for me because that is not the type of colour that I usually do sets with, but here we are. So I'm going to be using Golden Clover, which is this beautiful green glitter from Sparkle Supplies UK. It is absolutely stunning. I really love this. Considering it's green, I am quite surprised I love it, but I do. And then I've got Evergreen here from Diamond Glitters. I actually don't have a really good collection of green polishes, so I have found it difficult to find a colour that matches the green glitter that I'm using, so do bear in mind that they don't really go together that well. And then I'm also going to be using Honeydew as well, which is this beautiful like pale pastel sort of green. So first of all, like, we're doing something quite simple today, which is obviously what I mainly do on my channel, so I don't know why I always point it out, but that's the idea. So we're going to be having a few plain nails and then a couple designed. So for the plain nails, we're going to have two, just the, what are they called? The dark green colour. So we're going to have two just that. We're going to have one that is going to be this colour underneath, but is going to have the glitter on top, like a full coverage of the glitter. And then we're also going to have two nails that are the design itself. So I'm just going to do the plain ones first, just because obviously they're super easy. So I'm just using Evergreen now on this nail. We'll do 2 coats of this colour to create full coverage, and then that'll be it for 2 of those because they're just going to be nice and plain. And then the other 2 that are going to be designed, I am going to use Evergreen on them as well as the lighter colour, but we're just going to be painting them the lighter colour at first because Evergreen will go over the top of the lighter colour really well, so I'm going to be able to do both. But I will talk to you about, like, as it comes to doing those nails, I will explain like a different way around it if you're using a colour for the design that wouldn't cover the other colour that you're using, if that makes any sense. It'll make more sense when it comes to actually doing it, but just bear with. So for the base, like I said, as the 2 designed ones, I'm going to do 2 coats of Honeydew, and then once I've done that and we've got all the bases down of 2 coats on each nail, I'll come back and we'll do the rest together. The only one that I'm not going to do 2 coats on is the nail that I'm going to be sprinkling the glitter onto. That doesn't need 2 coats because, like I said, we're going to be using the glitter full coverage anyway, so we don't need the underneath to be perfect coverage. It just needs to be, I like to have, like, when I'm doing a full coverage glitter nail, I like to have a colour under the glitter that's relatively similar. I know this colour isn't really that similar compared to this, but it's green, so it'll do. So I'm just going to do those off camera and then I'll come back for the next step. So for the full coverage nail, that is this green colour. I've just done 1 coat on it, like I said, and I'm going to pop a layer of clear builder gel down. I want it to be nice and thin because I don't want to make it really bulky with this coat, because obviously when we're using a loose glitter, I want to make sure that after it's applied it's nice and smooth. So we don't want lots and lots of really thick layers, else it'll end up really thick overall at the end. So I'm just popping on a really thin layer of clear builder gel. And once I've done that, I'm going to get my little contraption that is typically made for dip powder, but I like to use it for glitter. As you've seen, probably if you watch my videos, you would have probably seen me use it before. So I'm just going to put that underneath the nail that I'm popping the glitter onto, just to catch majority of the excess. And then I'm just going to sprinkle this glitter over the top of the nail, making sure to cover the whole nail. And then obviously that little tray underneath will catch majority of the excess. I'm just going to give it a little tap, and then all I'm going to do is just run my finger across the side of the nail just to make sure that it's all inwards. Obviously if this was on a client, you'd only need to do it to the free edge, you wouldn't be able to do it like right along the side walls, but just make sure it's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to look at the side, so I'm going to move it out of the way for a second so you can see what I'm doing. Now I'm just going to get a silicone tool, preferably one with a point of some sort. This one is quite useful. So I'm just going to look at this from the side angle, as you can see, and I'm just going to press down. There's a little hair on there. I'm just going to press down on any areas that are raised. So if we've got any really obviously like high areas, look at from all angles. And if there's any that are really obviously high, we want to flatten those down to make sure that when it comes to doing the next coat after this one is cured, it'll be easy to get it nice and covered, instead of having to put layer and layer and layers of clear on to cover it all up. So just making sure it's nice and neat. Okay, so once you've done that and you've finished looking at it from all angles and you're happy that it's all flat, or as flat as you think you can get it, and then going to pop it into the lamp. So I'm happy with that. This is what it looks like, apart from this one speck over here. There we go. And then I'm going to pop that into the lamp to fully cure for a whole minute. So then, of course, once I've finished doing the sprinkling, I can take this out of here and just pop it all back into the pot, so you've got really minimal wastage. There we go. And then you can just pop that back in there, and then it's ready for you to use for the next glitter. And I've still got plenty of this glitter left. I'm going to leave it open actually, because I'm still going to be using some more of that glitter. Just give this a little sweep to get rid of any excess pieces. So once they've been in for a full cure, this one is now done. So I'm just going to get my duster and just dust off any excess. So this will just be the bits that are on the top, the very top layer, that didn't get any, like they weren't touching the builder gel at all. So obviously they've not stuck. You want to get all of that off, and then you're not going to contaminate the gels that you're about to go over the top with. So a few specks there, get rid of those, just have a little tidy up. And then once I finish that, I'm going to go over with another layer of clear gel. So I don't know what "so" means, but so you can use whatever you want really. I'm going to go in with base coat now because it's nice and flat, so I don't feel like I need another layer of builder gel. But if it was like sticking up quite a lot now, you could do another layer of builder gel, and then obviously your top coat. You could either do quite a thick layer of builder gel and then like file it, like give it a nice little buff, take off the tacky layer when it's cured, buff it, make sure it's nice and smooth, and then top coat, and that'll be perfect. I'm just going to use a base coat because mine's not sticking up really at all. Like there is tiny bits if you look at it there, like there's one up here, but the bits that are sticking up are quite low, they're not really sticking up a lot. So I'm going to base coat, and then I will get off the take off the tacky layer. Rubber base coats are brilliant because they're a bit thicker. This isn't a rubber base coat, but you can use them. They are brilliant for this. And then once I've took off the tacky layer when it's cured, I'll give it a little buff, and then we can top coat and it'll be nice and smooth. So I'm just going to pop that in for a full cure as well. Here's one of the two nails that is just going to be completely evergreen. It's such a beautiful colour, perfect amount of shimmer in it. It really is stunning. So that one and the other one is finished. I'm just going to top coat those off camera and then just sit them over here on this out of the way for now until we put them all together as a full set at the end when I've done the designs. Okay, so just to finish off this full coverage glitter one and get this one out of the way, I'm just taking off the tacky layer of that base coat that I've just applied. I will then get a nail file and go around the free edge area of the nail. Obviously this is the whole nail in this circumstance, but if it was a natural nail on a client, well, any sort of nail on a client, it'd just be your free edge and that'd be it for the filing. But I'm just going to do this whole nail because it's obviously a display tip. And then if you've got any really badly sticking out areas, you can use your nail file. It'd be quicker than going over it with a buffer a million times. So I've got one bit here that's a bit higher than the rest. I'm just going to go over that. But like I said, it is nice and smooth, so I don't have that many areas that really need to be filed as such. It is more just a buffing job. Once I've done that, I'm just going to go over with the buffer, get the whole nail nice and rough so my next layer of gel will stick, because obviously I've just took that inhibition layer off. Going over everywhere to make sure it's nice and smooth. Hate this noise, it makes me cringe so bad. Now once we've done that, just get off any excess. I'm just going to wipe over it once more to make sure there is no dust there at all. That's that. And then all we need to do with this one is top coat, which I haven't got ready. So just going to top coat this nail, and as you will see when I put the top coat on, it'll be perfect, all nice and smooth. Don't need to worry about anything with this one. This one will be totally finished like the two darker nails are. And then we can move on to the design with the other two. So that's that one done. Super shiny. It's a really, really pretty colour. So as you can see, perfectly smooth, so your client won't get them catching on anything, or it won't annoy them like when they want to pick it and stuff. It's nice and smooth. So moving on to the last two nails. I'm only going to do one on camera because they're going to be exactly the same. There's no point me doing both because it'll just be super, super long. So those two dark green ones that are just dark green are done. I've done 2 coats of the lighter green on these other 2 that are left. Just getting a palette ready and giving it a clean to make sure I can pop some polish on it. So I'm going to get my darker green and put some polish on my palette ready. And I'm going to get a liner brush. I'm going to use my Erin's favourite brush, which, as you all know, I use all the time because it is just fab. All of the brushes are. So I'm not going to say it again because I say it every single video and you're probably getting very bored of hearing about them. Unless you're new here, then that's obviously not as annoying for you because you've just heard it and not 1,000 times. So first of all, we're going to create 2 lines, leaving a gap down the middle. So I'm going to go around here, I think. I'd rather go a bit like too wide at first than too narrow because I definitely want enough space down the middle to pop some glitter. So I'm just creating my 2 straight lines that are very blurry. There we go. So I need that one to come in a little bit. Just want to make sure that it's nice and symmetrical, which for me is like the hardest task on earth because I'm just so bad at things like that. You can already see that it's not, like this one's a bit too far over, but I don't have the patience to change it, I'm afraid, so it's staying like that. And then I'm just going to fill in the side area. I will do 2 coats of this because this green isn't really great coverage in one, so I will need 2, but after 2 it will be perfect. So I'll do the second one off camera. But I'm just showing you what I'm going to be doing with it. So that's that side, and then we'll fill in the other side as well. I absolutely love this design. I've done it a couple of times, but the other times that I've done it, it's been in coral, and it's a beautiful design for the summer. So yeah, like I said, I've done it a couple of times. It is quite popular because it's super simple as well, to be fair, but it looks really effective. Obviously, you'll know now what it looks like. You should have seen it on the thumbnail, but super effective, but really, really easy. I'm just going to even that out a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to pop that in the lamp. I'll do the other nail and a second coat on them as well, and then we can do the next step. Okay, so once we've done that, this is what they look like. I don't know whether this was the first one that I did on camera or not, because obviously I've done 2 and I can't remember which one's which, but never mind, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to be using the base coat again, so I'm just popping a little blob of that on my palette, and then I'm also going to get some of the glitter, and I'm going to mix those 2 together. So I'm just going to pick up some glitter and pop it in. We don't need loads and loads because we're only going to be doing like a fade effect with it. So we don't need it to be super, like a load of it, because we've only got 2 nails and we're only doing like a little fade, not the whole nail, so that's fine. So once we've got that mixed up, I'm then going to use a blending brush, so an ombre brush. This is the one from Erin's collection again. It's nice and thin, perfect for this size like of area. And then obviously you need a brush to be able to pick it up and pop it on the nail. So I'm going to use my Bestie brush from the same collection because it's basically like the Erin's favourite like long liner, but just a shorter version basically, so easier to use in this instance. So I'm going to pick up some of this glitter mix that's in this base coat, and I'm going to place it at the top of the nail. And I'm just placing it at the very, very top to start with, and then I will start to pull it downwards. I've got the open pot of glitter next to me as well in case I want to add any more specks anywhere. Then once I've done that, I'm going to keep going, so I'm going to get a bit more. Obviously it's up to you how far down you want to go. I'm going to go probably just about halfway or just past that, something like that. And glitters like this with different sized pieces in are much easier to use for designs like this. Really, really useful to have those little tiny pieces to pull down and create the fade, but also useful to have the bigger pieces to fill more space. So they're really, really helpful. I'm just messing around with it to make sure that we get all the pieces where I want them. And then, like I said, I've got a few specks lying around me as well that I can just pick up and place wherever I want them, which is useful. Don't want those down there, that's for sure. So I'm just pushing those up a little bit because they're a bit too low. Definitely don't want that one down there. So this is what it looks like. So we're just creating a fade now. We're using these tiny pieces to just create the fade. I'm just going to pick up this one here, create the fade of that. I think I'm happy with that. So I'm going to pop that in the lamp for a full cure. Make sure that this top area is like more dense with glitter, because obviously that's the bit, that's how you create the fade, is by having a thicker area at the top. Not thicker necessarily, but like more glitter at the top and then fading it down to less pieces. That's how the fade is sort of created. So I'm just going to do it real quick with this one as well. So just get it on there, make sure the top is nice and covered, and then just pull it down. Super easy but effective design. I love this one. You don't want to make it too thick either, because you do need it to cure, so don't forget about that. So just wiggling it around a bit, moving all these little pieces down the bottom. Make sure we don't have one really big thick line of glitter. And then that's that one done as well. So I'm going to pop that in the lamp. So I'm curing those both for a full cure. Then I'm going to be using this flexi tape to outline those nails. So I'm going to get it back out. And we're going to outline it with this flexi tape. So I don't want the lines to be too thick, but I want to be able to see them as well. So I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use my other piece that I've got, because I've got some that's already been used, so I don't need to cut into a whole new one. So I'm going to use this size simply just because it's there and it's useful. So I'm just going to get some scissors and some tweezers. So these come in the application kit from Nail Decals by Design, and I'm just going to size it up, make sure that we've got enough, and just cut that there. And then we're going to use these to outline the sides of where the glitter is. I'm using gold because I think gold and green go together really well. So that's what I've gone for, but obviously you can use whatever you like. So I'm just popping that down the side of the glitter, making sure it is attached. And I'll get the other piece. I like to have a little bit of an overhang because then I can like cut off the ends instead of having not enough and then being stuck and having to try and line up another piece perfectly to get it to look like it was meant to be like that. So this is what it looks like. And then we're just gonna pull off, like I said, the end pieces. It is super easy to snap this stuff. I love flexi tape. I haven't used it in my videos for quite a while because I went through a phase where it was in like every single one, and I just thought, you know what, I think I need to take a step back from the flexi tape for a moment. But this is what it looks like. So that's really cute, and then it just needs top coating. So I'm going to do the same on the other nail and top coat both of these designed nails, and then we can put them all together and see how they look. So here is the finished design and them all together. I really love how they turned out, but like I said, you can do this design with absolutely any colours, any glitters, blah blah blah, like you can do whatever you want, and it's just beautiful. Like I absolutely love it in any colour and glitter and everything. So definitely worth doing. Do tag me on Instagram or anything if you do it. I'm not saying it's my design like at all, but I'd just like to see any designs done from my videos. It's really nice to see. So thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.